There's this guy who lives near me. It seems like we're on the same schedule because I run into him at the bus stop almost every day. We don't talk much. He just asks for a cigarette and I usually give him one. The thing is, I don't have a consistent schedule. My classes change daily and often get rescheduled, and I set my own work hours so I show up whenever. The last time I saw him was a few hours ago. I was walking home in the middle of the night when some guy jumped out from behind me asking, "Got a cigarette?" I turned around. It was him wandering the neighborhood at 2:30 a.m., just looking for someone to bum a smoke from. 2. I live in a townhouse with a 20-inch concrete firewall separating me from my neighbor. She screams obscenities in the dead of night, sounding like she's possessed. The neighbor on her other side has called the police for welfare checks multiple times. Her family has been contacted, but no one does anything. I mean, when these gut-wrenching screams wake you up in the middle of the night, it's downright creepy. Every time I look in the hallway mirror, I see a faint shadow standing behind me. When I turn around, no one's there. The neighbor downstairs says she's seen the same thing, but only when passing the mirror at night. The strange part, this mirror was left behind by a previous tenant, and no one knows where they went. 3. I've been living in this complex for 6 months. Last week, I found a handwritten note slipped under my door, unsigned, that simply read, "Don't leave shoes in the hallway." It doesn't like it. I thought it was a prank since I do leave my shoes outside. But ever since, whenever I leave them out, they're messed up. By morning sometimes, one shoe goes missing. I asked around the building, but no one admitted to sending the note. What's creepier is yesterday I found another note in my coat pocket in the same handwriting. It still sees me. I don't know who or what it is. I've installed a camera outside my door, but I haven't dared check the footage yet. 4. My building has an apartment that everyone says is occupied because we occasionally hear chairs, scraping, or cleaning sounds, yet no one's ever seen anyone enter or leave. The building manager says a man is listed on the lease, but no one can contact him. One day, the police showed up due to a strange smell coming from the unit. When they broke in, there was no one inside, just an old phone, still recording with its battery somehow still alive. 5. I live alone and work regular office hours. One day, the elderly lady downstairs stopped me and asked, "Why didn't you answer?" When I called out to you in the hallway yesterday, I was stunned. I was out of town on business and wasn't home. She insisted she saw me in my usual gray outfit and black backpack entering my apartment and standing still in the dark by the window. The problem is, I don't have a camera at my door, and when I checked the lock, it was untouched. 6. Whenever I take my bike out of the condo parking lot at night, I feel like someone's following me. I've turned around multiple times, but no one's there. Once I recorded a video to show my friend I was being paranoid. But when I watched it back, I saw a long shadow moving diagonally across the left corner, right when I felt a chill down my spine. The thing is, there was no object large enough to cast a shadow like that. 7. My condo doesn't have a room numbered 404. They skipped it due to superstitions. But one day, while taking the stairs, I saw an old iron door between the 4th floor with no number or doorbell. When I returned the next day, it was gone. I asked the security guard, who just laughed and said, "This building doesn't have doors like that." But I swear I stood in front of that door and it had scratch marks like someone had tried to force it open. 8. I have a car parked in the basement garage. I always adjust my rear-view mirrors carefully before leaving, but within a few hours when I return, the mirrors are always misaligned, as if someone taller than me had driven it. I've locked the doors and set up a dash cam, but it hasn't caught anything unusual. The weirdest part, the mirrors only get adjusted when I park in one specific spot, the shadowy corner by the far wall of the garage. 9. I got into the elevator with a girl about 6 years old wearing a school uniform. She didn't say anything, just stared at the button panel. When I asked which floor she was going to, she held up 3 fingers. I pressed the 3rd floor, looked down, and she was gone. The elevator doors opened, and I ran out thinking I'd imagined it. But when I checked the security footage, it showed only me stepping into the elevator. 10. I moved into an old condo, and across from me is an apartment where the bedroom light is always on 24/7. I watched it for 3 straight days, same brightness curtains never moved. One night the whole complex lost power, but that room still glowed. 11. A young couple who lived next door moved out 6 months ago, but last week I saw the husband walk into the elevator wearing the same outfit he always did with the same expression. I called his name. He turned, looked at me silently, and entered the apartment, which now has new tenants. 12. I work late, often staying up until 1 or 2 a.m. For weeks, I've heard rapid typing coming from the empty apartment across from mine. The thing is, that unit was just vacated with no new tenant. When I checked with the security guard, there was nothing inside, but there was a long streak of dust near the window, like someone had been sitting there. 13. I've lived in this condo for about 2 months. My apartment is next to one that's always locked, but I occasionally see an elderly woman coming and going. She has long white hair, wears dark sweaters, and carries an old cloth bag. I'm polite, so I always greet her. "Hello, ma'am." She never responds, no smile, no nod, just stares at me for a few seconds before turning away and hurrying inside. I got used to it, assuming she's hard of hearing or dislikes strangers. One day, while picking up spilled trash by my door, I noticed her standing less than a meter away, staring with that same look. I forced a smile. She turned and left. Then I ran into the building manager and casually asked, "The lady next door lives alone, right?" He frowned. "That unit. It's been empty since the owner moved abroad after her husband died nearly 2 years ago." I froze. Who have I been seeing for 2 months? 14. A couple in a tightly locked apartment woke up one morning to find a paper box in the middle of their living room floor. Inside were photos of them sleeping taken from close range, including one of the wife reading a book the previous night. No locks were broken, no signs of entry, no cameras recorded anything unusual. 15. I used to live next to a kind middle-aged man. We chat every morning while taking out the trash. One day, he vanished. A week passed, then a month. When I asked the management, they said, "That apartment's been empty for over a year." I'm certain I spoke to him nearly every morning. No one else ever saw him. 16. A college student said their dorm room always had a strange smell, despite being spotless. They often felt like someone had touched their belongings. Suspicious, they set up a small camera to record overnight. The next morning, They saw a strange woman crawl out of their closet, rummage through their food, eat quickly, and crawl back inside. When police arrived, she was gone. No one knows how long she lived there, how she did it, or why. 17. I lived next to a young couple with no kids, but many nights around 11 p.m., I hear children giggling from their apartment. At first, I thought they had guests, but after a month, the laughter kept coming, always at the same time. When I asked, they exchanged a look and said, "You hear it too, we thought it was from next door." But the other neighbors are also a childless couple, and there are no kids in that wing. 18. A neighbor says every night they hear footsteps circling inside their bedroom wall as if someone's walking within the wall itself. Technicians found no rats or animals. I live across from them and have heard it a few times too. Clearly 4 steps pause, 3 steps pause, like a rhythm. No one can explain it. 19. My building has a basement parking lot. One night around 11 p.m., while grabbing something from my car, I saw a woman in pajamas shuffle by carrying nothing, saying nothing. I assumed she was a neighbor, but when I asked around, no one recognized her. Why would someone in pajamas wander the dark, damp basement garage at night? That night the basement entrance was locked beforehand. I still get chills going down there alone. 20. One day, while passing through the condo's bike storage, a bicycle leaning against the wall suddenly rolled out into the middle of the path as if pushed, but there was no wind, no one nearby, and the floor was flat. It rolled a bit and stopped. This happened in front of me and an elderly man. We looked at each other silently, propped the bike back up, and said nothing. The feeling was indescribable. 21. I live on the 9th floor. One morning I opened my window and saw cat paw prints smeared on the outer edge of the glass where no cat could possibly climb, as there's no balcony or ledge. Stranger still, the prints went from outside inward, as if a cat had entered my apartment and vanished. My place was locked tight, and I don't own a cat. The prints lingered for days before fading in the sun. 22. Our complex had a wave of strange petty thefts. People lost small items like spoons, nail clippers, toothbrushes, remote batteries, or charging cables. They'd assume they were gone, only to find them days later in impossible places like the fridge sink or inside shoes. People joked, "Is there a kleptomaniac ghost here?" But no one could explain why only small items were taken, by whom or when. 23. One scorching afternoon, I heard a knock at my door. A polite middle-aged man stood outside, saying he was thirsty and asking for a glass of water. I invited him in, but he declined staying outside. I handed him the glass. He thanked me, drank it all right. They bowed and walked down the stairs. Curious, I looked over my balcony. He was gone impossibly fast, with no trace of where he went. I could still hear his footsteps moments before. I meant to ask the guard, but a sudden chill stopped me. 24. One morning, I opened my door to find a neatly sealed takeout box at my doorstep. No name, no note. It smelled amazing, like chicken curry. I asked neighbors, but no one claimed it. Thinking it was a mix-up, I left it there all day. No one took it. That night, the box vanished without a sound. The next morning, another box appeared, a different dish. This went on for 3 days, then stopped. I still don't know who left the food or why. 25. Our complex has a small garden corner with a stone bench for relaxing. But no stray cats in the area ever go near it, despite roaming everywhere else. I once tried luring a familiar cat to the spot. It growled, puffed up, and bolted. Older residents say there's always been something off about that corner, but no one explains. Now, only kids play there. Adults steer clear. 26. Our complex bans smoking in the common hallways. But in the late afternoons, especially on cold days, a strong cigarette smell fills the air as if someone's smoking right in the corridor. Yet there's never anyone there, no cigarette butts, no ashtrays. 27. A friend on the 6th floor says sometimes while watching TV she hears soft rhythmic tapping from the wall between her apartment and the neighbors. When she taps back, the sound stops. But if she ignores it, the tapping resumes steady as ever. The neighbor swears they hear nothing. 28. An old bicycle sits outside a second-floor apartment untouched for months. Oddly, every morning when I leave, it's in a different position, tilted one day upright the next, with the wheels facing a new direction. Neighbors say they've seen no one move it, and no one claims to have touched it. 29. I often come home late, and passing through the 9th floor hallway, I've noticed something bizarre. The lights don't stay steady, but flicker in a rhythmic pattern like Morse code or a secret signal. The flickering lasts about 15 minutes before the lights stabilize. I asked the building's electrician, who said the system is fine with no technical issues.